I was just reminded of a position which I think is extremely important, and that's that we can never really know at the most fundamental epistemological level anything about reality except for the fact that we exist. I mean, our own mind is the only thing we have a direct interaction with. It's the only thing we have direct experience of. It's the only direct experience that we're aware of. And so when we see the exterior world and think, oh, look over there is that box, um, but of course you don't really know or have any direct access of the box itself, you only construct a model, a provisional model of what you think the box is. You know, it's sort of, I mean, at a certain level, all experience obeys this sort of scientific empirical principle that we'll keep on trying to do our best to understand what the hell is going on out here, but hey, it's only provisional. We're doing what we can. And that's the attitude taken by almost everyone in their day to day life. I mean, if you don't act under some assumption, if you don't go ahead and construct a provisional model, then how do you act? How do you act if you don't construct a provisional model for reality? And of course, it's not like you are deciding to construct it. I'm just saying an object that is able to compute information about the exterior world will do so more efficiently if it acts under a series of premises or maxims or a series of programming. And so we all have to rely on that in order to construct any understanding, to attempt an understanding. I mean, the Socratic method can be the most destructive force. You can come in and dismantle anyone's anyone's account of reality. And what did you really do? All you did was reduce it to its epistemological limitations. But what if the theory had accounted for that and said, well, I understand that you can't really ever know anything, but I'm constructing a provisional model based on the data that I'm able to obtain. I think that's the starting foundation. I mean, that's in essence the scientific method. I have to construct a model based on the limitations of my sense input. I have to, try and come up with the best theory I can to explain what the hell's going on out there. And so if you just rely on the Socratic method to tear all that down because it operates on starting assumptions, then there's no use. You have to examine a theory for its internal consistency. You have to say, okay, I'll buy your assumption for now. I'll accept it temporarily. Now show me what the conclusion of that would be. Because what if it's the case that there's some if condition that seems just wholly absurd? Like, how could things be deterministic? That's ridiculous. But at the same time, the then portion actually describes reality quite well. In which case, that if you discover that it's truly mathematically self-similar, if that if-then relationship is genuine, then you're learning something new. That there's a good likelihood, based on what we're seeing, that this attached if maxim accompanies reality. And you can just do what you can to construct the best provisional model, but you can't get stuck in the Socratic rut where you just dissolve any provision, because you have to rely on maxims. You have to take some temporary assumptions in order to discover what is likely about reality. So it's a problem, um, because I think a lot of people who don't know about the Socratic method see someone come in and use it and then think, oh my gosh, that opinion must have been, terrible. But the argument that the Socratic method addresses, it can be demolished no matter its quality, because all arguments are demolished under the Socratic method. When you keep on just questioning to the very foundation, you always find out that you're assuming something, that something is based on faith. And there's this attack with the Socratic method of, well, that's just faith. All things are taken on faith. I take it on faith that there is an external world. I take it on faith that You know, I actually am a human and not, you know, some brain vat um, simulation running somewhere, just to, you know, so that I act out the everyday necessities of existence. You know, you take that on faith. You always have to take something on faith. I think you have to apply the same standards to your philosophy. You know, try and determine as best you can what are the best starting assumptions, what are the starting assumptions that associate most closely with the reality we observe. What is the theory that best matches reality? Um, you know, and this argument isn't against anyone or for anyone particularly. I mean, maybe it sounds that way, but the point is we have to understand the point from which philosophy starts. We have to understand that yeah, we can never know anything. I understand. Now let's try and understand what's going on here, provisionally, with conditions. Although I do enjoy reading Socrates because he wails on people and it's hilarious. It's awesome. He was just like history's greatest troll in a sense.